Hey guys, welcome back for another project. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to make some t-shirts. We're actually going to print a logo that I hand drew years ago, maybe back in 89, 90, somewhere in that time frame. I had a little skateboard team, Team Ham. I drew these logos by hand. This is actually an original decal that was photocopied onto some special paper called Sticky Back. And years later, my mother was actually going through my closet, through some old stuff, and she found one. And well, she sent it to me in a box of just keepsake type of photos and items like that. And I had it for some time. And for whatever reason, I was talking with my brother sometime back, and he mentioned it. And I said, you know, I think I have one of those decals. So we decided to digitize it and go ahead and make some t-shirts. Now we're a little older and actually have a little bit of money and proper equipment. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to run over to his shop and check out the t-shirt making process and see where it goes. I think it'll be fun. Let's go see what we find in there and see who we can surprise. Where's he at? That's fine. There he is, right there. That would be Phil, owner, director of operations here at Titan Signs and Graphics.
And janitor.
So we'll get settled in here and get organized and figure out what we're going to do. And I'm hanging out with this dude here, who's owner, proprietor of Titan Signs and Graphics, and a buddy of his here, Seabass, paintball guru extraordinaire / war hero. What are we going to do here? Let's get right to it. We start out first by pulling it into the computer. We took a scanned image. We scanned it in via just scanner or whatever, so we get a pretty crappy JPEG, if you will. And now what we're going to do is work in Corel Draw and digitize it. And this is just Phil that helped me out quite a bit with the artwork, where it's all done in vector art.
So we go from here, from the scanned in image to revectorize, and then we have to turn it into a positive for printing. So that's where this comes in. This is already placed. I'm going to flip this over. And I did this in such a manner that way I can utilize the whole slick. So the larger one is going on the back, the smaller one is going on the front. And these are just colors that don't matter. It's for the software so that it prints exactly what I want. So that's how that goes. And then we print it out on a special printer that prints to a waterproof ink receptive plastic. This printer is set up to print all black ink, so it's got all black ink cartridges. It's a special super opaque ink, so if you hold that up to the light does not go through that. It is opaque, and that's how we make the because this is actually a positive, and our screen is going to be our negative for printing.
Right. All right, so we came back down here, production side of the shop, down here where all the dirty work takes place. And I'll let Philip explain what we have here with the screen print. So what is this? What are we looking at?
So what we have here is a 21 inch by 23 inch wood frame screen of 110 mesh count. That's 110 dots per inch basically. So this is actually a fake silk. They call it silk screen because that's what they originally used, but this is it's just a synthetic material. So what I'm doing is taking our positive, I'm laying it on there. I'm going to measure to make sure that I get it centered up. Yes, I just want it, typically I'm centered it left to right. With my software, I have the template that I use, so this should be spaced correctly up and down. So I just put it on the edge of my screen, make sure that I'm...
Now those dots you're measuring off of, those registration marks put on by the computer, so you measured for symmetry basically?
Yeah, they're just marks that I made up, and then I just use the same ones over and over, so I'm always the same. So it doesn't really matter. Some people just put them wherever. It doesn't really matter. It's just a cue for yourself on something to measure off of. In my particular case, I like to have them in a quadrant, and they're spaced evenly. But if you were doing multicolor, that's how you would line up your two colors. So that's that. Now I'm flipping it over, and we are gonna cover this up. This is photosensitive, so it's not good to have it in the light because we don't want it to overexpose or pre-expose.
Now again, we didn't mention it before. This is a UV light box. This light's ultraviolet, and that's what we use to process this screen.
So I'm going to cover it up. I want the image to be as flat to the screen as possible, so I'm putting weight on top of it. So I have my own little contraption. This is homemade, a homemade box, and then I set the timer. That's it.
And the time that it takes for this to process?
We're going to burn this for 3 minutes 45 seconds.
All right. Yeah, that's really what it works.
Yep.
All right, so our 3 minutes has passed. We're about to pull up this cover here to see.
Turn the lights out.
Basically, it's a developed screen, right, Phil?
That's right. So let's see if we can actually see the image. That's a precursor to how it's going to come out. So, yeah, looks good.
Okay, he's pulling off the image, and I have no idea what he's looking at, but he says
image.
It looks good.
You can actually, I don't think the camera will pick it up, but I can see the image. So that means it should be a decent burn.
All right, and from here we go to a wash box.
It out. Oh, yeah. Take a look at it.
How's it look? Not bad, not bad.
So I'm looking at it in the light to see if any emulsion is left behind that I need to clean out. That's what I'm doing. Do you see anything in there? Fine lines, they look good?
It's looking pretty good to me.
You don't have your glasses on.
Right. Yo glasses, I gotta
Yo glasses.
Need the glasses. This is the basic carousel setup for screen printing. These are all previous jobs, and we're going to prep this for this new job that we're going to do. Each one of these screens can represent different colors or different shirts. And for this project, we're only going to use a single screen with a single color just for the sake of easiness. And then it goes through the dryer. This is a conveyor dryer where the shirts will go through and dry. It looks a little bit like a pizza oven. And they come out on this end and fall into a crate once they're done and ready to wear.
This is a special low-tack vinyl tape. It's a screen printer's tape. You can use other tapes as well. Some people just use masking tape. Some people use packing tape. I like to use this one. It's a lot more expensive, but when I go to clean this, the tape comes off with no fuss. So, and then I'm gonna tape up my registration marks. I don't want them to come through. Not sure what that is. Tape it.
Artifact.
Artifact. All right.
There we go. So we covered with mask what we don't want to
So we're gonna do the.
get ink through.
We're gonna do the back first. So I'm gonna go ahead and tape up the front icon.
Now this is the back of the silk, so the emulsion is actually happening on the front.
It's on both sides.
Okay.
The emulsion is, I coat it on the front and the back. So the actual amount of ink that gets deposited on our garment is equal to the thickness of the emulsion. So we have one layer on the front, one layer on the back. So microns thick, but that's, if I want to put a thick ink deposit, I might coat it twice on both sides. Get thicker emulsion, so thicker deposit of ink.
All right. I think our director went dead. He's went to sleep already. All right, so we're prepping the carousel with our screen. And again, this is a 6-head carousel, but we're only using one head where we're going to be printing our sheets, hence one color.
Yep. And now because I measured on the light table, this should be straight. So now I'm just going to measure my screen inside my arms here and make sure that I have equal on both sides, equal distance. Tighten it down. Which, with that being said, let me see. Oh yeah, that's good.
Our pizza oven's kind of noisy over here a little bit.
Good. Check the temperature. Our speed looks good. Put that piece of tape over our mark so that it doesn't move.
Our temperature set to what?
Our cure time is 320 degrees is how is what it cures at. The actual pizza oven is right now at a cool 587 degrees.
All right, that's hot.
Yeah. So.
How to cook a pizza? Probably burn your pizza.
Right. Let's see. Black. Already has the black set up. This is a job that I did last week.
All right, so he's robbing from a different screen basically to get the ink, and he's just reusing what was on a previous job and putting it over to our project. A little bit of recycling here so we don't waste.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you got to put more ink than you're actually. Well, I do anyway. I put a lot more ink than I'm going to use because I don't like to really scrape around for ink. And it's kind of.
How good is this? How long is it good for before it dries and becomes unusable? I noticed you leave the ink on here several days or even maybe a week.
Months and months. It does not dry unless it cures. It can get hard, and I have a reducer I can add to it to soften it back up. But typically I clean this up. I leave it on there for sometimes a month if I don't have any other jobs. But if normally I'll just go ahead and after about a month pull them off, because sometimes people want to reorder, so they can call me the next week and go, hey, I need 2 more, I need 3 more, and we can just go ahead and do them real fast without having to set it back up. Okay.
All right, so this is a test print. This ugly shirt here is just to see how well that the ink is going through the actual screen, or as Phil says, lube up the screen, prime the screen basically.
Prime the screen, because the screen, it might have a little bit of water in it, might have a little bit of emulsion. We can't see it. The mesh is so tight. So I want to push that through and make sure that we're getting a good print before we actually go live on a good product.
So you're putting significant amount of pressure to push this ink through there, right?
Yeah, right now I am, yes. Once we're going, I'll still put pressure, but not as much. And looks like we got a good print.
And so now from there it just goes into the pizza oven. And here's the first one that came out of the pizza oven.
There we go. About to start it up.
Yeah, it's nice and dry.
All right, so in case you're wondering how I line this stuff up, because I made the careful measurements before with my screen, it all starts with making the positive and then lining it up on my screen. And that way when I come to the palette, when I come to the printing, I know that everything's squared up. So I'm going to make sure that this t-shirt is squared up. So I slide it on, and I get the tag centered up in the middle. And if this is your first time, you can just look at the tag and line it up with the equipment. I just eyeball it, look at the sleeves. I want to make sure my sleeves are hanging equal distance on both sides. Make sure my shoulders look square. And as I look at the shirt, I can actually see the fibers running down. This particular brand, Gildan, always makes a nice square shirt. So I can follow those lines and I know I'm good. When I pull it down, my first stroke, this is my flood stroke. I'm flooding the screen with ink. Then next one is my print stroke. I'm pushing back. I hold it at an angle, push the ink back. Then I'm coming back with another second stroke, and this is just wet on wet, so I can get just a little more ink on it, and that is it. I'm done. And you know you got a good screen, a good push, because the screen has been wiped away. And you can see my ink pulled up right there. It means I pushed it over real nice. And that's it.
And there you have it. A perfect screen print.
Bash, how much of your time is
The whole project?
I'm going to see how long it takes me to print these shirts.
Okay, so we're gonna print roughly, probably about 25 shirts, maybe.
I don't know. Count them as we go.
And Seabass is gonna be the timekeeper. See how fast Phil can pull these through. All right, so these are the actual shirts. This is a brand new, clean shirt. Beautiful. And we'll set that in the dryer. Once he gets his rhythm down, all concentrated, got chew in his mouth, the man on a mission. Mm-hmm. After that pondering, of course. That's essential. Got to ponder. Yep. So here it comes out on the back end of the pizza dryer. The pizza oven. I call it the pizza oven. It's just a dryer. Wow. There it is. Team Ham rides again. So quick shout out. Manuel Pena, you're watching this for you. All right, so we got Sebastian over here who just pulled these off the dryer as they're coming out, and he's organizing them so we can do the fronts next on the front logo side of it. So we'll be ready to run those through again. So did we count how many shirts those were? No. You pulled them all basically in 10.5 minutes.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to tape off the other side. Left chest.
So this side basically stayed clean for the part, with the exception of what is shown that allowed the actual ink to pass through. Hence you're able to tape it up. And then we're going to remove the other tape so we can do the front logo.
And essentially this saves us from having to make two screens. Normally, if it's multicolor, I'm not going to do this, but since it's one simple color and we're able to put the left chest on there, that saves us some time, saves us some material. We just flip the screen around now so that we can do the front side and they'll align correctly. The t-shirt always goes on one way, so we can't put the t-shirt on backwards because obviously the neck can't fit over the platen. We don't want to stretch it. So we'll do a test first.
Let's see here. If we were to hold it up, actually it's about right on. Old Phil and his experience, huh? Look all crazy looking.
The screen printer's face.
Now we're running the real deal.
A little more glue. Bam.
bucket. And there you have it, guys. As they say, hot off the press. And in the mail to some of you old skate teammates. Well, guys, there you have it. That's Team Ham. I'm gonna go ahead and send some of these to some old friends. They don't know it yet. I'm sure they'll be quite surprised when they receive some of these t-shirts in the mail. But thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And until next time, we'll see you on the next project.